definitely a great story, and absolutely agree. I mean, intelligent people, but you've now given them the tools and the technology to be able to use that. Did you find that there was a lot of kind of education needed around how to use the tool, given that it was their first phone?
Well, that's the trick. Rather than educate the farmers, what we did was change the phone so it was simple and comprehensible. So it doesn't rely on anyone having any literacy. It's all symbols. If you want to hand over a crop, you press the blue circle. And so people who with low literacy can understand how to do that. And then we do a very in-depth training program in the field. So we send a whole team out there. They're based in, our team are based in Indonesia. They come from NGO backgrounds. So they go out and do a comprehensive training program when we onboard the farmers. But really the idea is to make it as simple as possible and not change what the farmers are already doing. If they're handing over their crop and getting a deposit, then you keep doing what they're already doing. So you're not introducing any change into their way of operating. So every time we come in, we talk to all the farmers, find out what they're comfortable doing, and we change the system to work just the way they expect it. And then you get this really easy flow into the community picks it up quickly, and you get a really good success in the first project. And one of the other interesting aspects of our business is we can't market, because these are people who are not online, don't have phones until they get ours. So you have to rely on word of mouth. So you get a good result in one village. Every village for 50 kilometres will know exactly what's happened, and they'll want the phones as well. So that's the way we grow our business.
Yeah, which actually brings me to my next question. And for all the startups listening out there, I mean, you've certainly got the experience and the background. You've got the fantastic idea, which is where startup founders tend to find themselves. But then how did you initially scale and grow this idea, and what would you say was the one main thing that was instrumental to your success?
Oh, persistence, bloody-minded persistence, because what we're doing is transformative, but it's not necessarily intuitive. Like when you say to someone in a developed market, we're going to give the farmer a free phone because it's cheaper than getting them to download an app. That takes a little bit of digesting. So a lot of the stuff we were saying and trialing, people would not reject it out of hand, but they'd be very resistant to the idea because it's not the way you work in developed markets. And the things we were doing, not necessarily meaningful for people in developed markets. So in order to get through, the 4 years that we have now and, bring people along for the ride with us, we had to be very persistent about what we were doing. We learned very early on what worked. We were very agile with changing it, but we knew we had the right program, and we had to be really stick through a lot of people saying, oh, you can't do it that way. You need to charge you need to collect money off the farmers' commodities. Lots of things that we learned that were different. One very interesting thing happened. We were invited by World Food Programme into a kind of an accelerator group in Germany. And they brought in Google's experts on user experience design who wanted us to completely redesign the application. And these were people that had never been to a developing country. Yeah. And so we had we've had a few interesting incidents like that where we try to be humble and listen to advice, and we always do that. But then sometimes you have to be a little bit, look, we've been out in the field, we know the farmers, and that's the key to it. You need to really know who your consumer is and be persistent, get a solution that works for them, and be persistent at working through everyone else who tell you you can't do it. And that, particularly in Australia, right, you do get a lot of people that say, oh, this won't work. So you kind of have to be bigger than that, believe in what you're doing and push through any resistance you get.
Absolutely. I can 100% agree. Persistence and just believing in yourself and following your gut instincts as well. I mean, even though the experts are saying this, you know your audience a lot better than them. So definitely.